One question that I'm sure a lot of people have when it comes to Chip 'n Dale Rescue Rangers is during the original run, and I've talked about this before, when it comes to Chip 'n Dale and the infatuation with Gadget, and how they would always compete with each other. I mean, there are several times to where it's hinted at that Chip and Dale both want to spend individual time with Gadget to try to win her over. And despite all the other times when they would flirt with her, like from the very first episode, calories not included, to various other times in the series, there have been various other hints, like I said, to where they just want to have her to themselves. I mean, you look at this, like I mentioned, you look at this Palvely Ring a Bell, and Dale basically indicates that he wants to take Gadget on a picnic by himself. It's just make it between the two of them, be a picnic date or, lunch date or whatever. Get to know each other better. And then when you look at good times, bad times, you have, the Rangers at a drive-in enjoying surprisingly a romantic film. And you have Dale offering stuff that he got from the concession stand. And, Chip basically gets, because Dale's offering to share it with both of them, with everybody. And Chip's like, no, you just sit back there. We need a smoke signal. We need anything, we'll send you a smoke signal. And then you see this look on Gadget's face, like, what was that about? He was just trying to share. And she has this look on her face when he's, after he does that and he gets back to her and he's like, now, where were we? So obviously you get the idea just by him reacting to even just Dale generously sharing what he got, acting that way and then going like, now, where were we? You could tell right there that Chip wanted Gadget to himself. Like he wanted to just be her and him at that movie so he could try to win her over. So the question obviously is, though, in my opinion, and I don't know if anybody else has asked this, but why didn't they do an episode, or even a comic book story, whatever, where Gadget finally confronts them? I mean, she obviously knows about the feelings and everything. She's not that dumb. She's not that oblivious. I mean, she knows think of it this way. When Dale wants to go on a picnic with her, he hints that he just meant her and him, not anybody else, but yet, before that, she suggests that, hey, everybody, we're going to all go on that. You see, Gadget's not dumb. By doing that, by stating, hey, everybody, we're going to all go on a picnic, and then Dale trying to say, well, I just meant you and me, you kind of tell that Gadget's not that dumb. She knows what Dale was planning. And the same with Chip. Even though we didn't see it on screen, obviously it took place off screen, Chip probably suggested a drive-in movie, to go to a movie and all that, to see this romantic film. And he probably just meant for him and Gadget, but then Gadget suggested, hey guys, Chip just made a good idea for a night out. We can go see a movie. So obviously you could tell that she's not that oblivious to how they feel about her, because with her pretty much saying this, in my opinion, she's avoiding what's going to happen. She's avoiding what she knows the original plan is. Like, she knows when Dale suggests a picnic, you would think, oh, she's oblivious to it. No. She's obvious. She's not oblivious. She knows exactly what's going on. She knows, oh, wait a minute. Dale just suggested a picnic. Got quick on your feet, girl. And she just goes like, hey, buddies, we're going to all go on a picnic. She knows what Dale wants to do. Even though her and Dale were in the back of the Ranger skate, if you will, which I guess would be the closest thing Dale would get. Fun. That's good. That's cool too. But again, here's the thing. If she's willing to work around this, basically, change things up to, from what Chip and Dale's original plans were, were from the beginning, then why doesn't she just come out and tell them? Why didn't they do an episode or even a comic, story where she finally convinces them? Sorry about that, but continuing on real quickly. The question obviously is, why didn't she ever say something? Why didn't they put an episode together, or maybe a comic story together, where she finally addressed the situation. Because again, it's despite how you think Gadget is, or how oblivious Gadget might be to it, she's not. I mean, she works it around. She knows exactly what Dale. She's smart. Remember, she's a very intelligent, high Q, character. She can invent things out of nothing, just like that, or invent things out of nothing, just like that. What I was trying to do, or trying to say. So, she's obviously not stupid to the fact that she knows exactly what's going on. So why didn't anybody? I mean, yes, I understand it's a show for kids, but what better way to kind of teach kids a lesson than to have a character that both Chip and Dale are infatuated with tell Chip and Dale, look, I know what you guys are trying to do at times. I know, what you're up to. Even maybe acknowledge, their attempts of, oh, I just want to have, like, let's say Dale picnic, idea, or Chip's movie ideas, like, have them at least, have maybe from an acknowledgement standpoint, have her come out and say, look, I know what you guys were planning, like Dale with the picnic, you wanted to just be me and you, Chip with the movie, you wanted to be me and you, but I'm not ready for that, and I only look at the family, and I only look at the Rangers as a family, and I don't want to do anything or make any choice that could, cause disaster or kind of destroy that family. That's why I'm always changing things up to where it involves everybody and not just me and one of you. So, to me, I think, it would have been obvious, not obvious, but it would have been a great, solution in the end. Just like a little bonus episode on the side, because some shows at that time, even with Disney, did that, or even do a little comic, one shot in the Walt Disney Comics or the Marvel Comics during when they had the Disney Afternoon comic, do something like that to where at least, or even in Disney Adventures magazine, do something to at least addresses that issue, to where both Chip and Dale get the understanding, like, oh, okay, we get it now, we get it. But then, being typical Chip and Dale, both have thinking, okay, we'll let that be for right now, but sooner or later she's gonna have to choose. So we'll have them both think that in the thought bubbles, that sooner or later she's gonna have to choose me over Dale, or she's gonna have to choose me over Chip, or something like that. And again, this is why a lot of people would also say this is, an instance as to why in the cartoon you had characters like Tammy and Foxglove brought into fray, as well as Sparky, to kind of, drive home the message that, yeah, both Chip and Dale have a thing for Gadget, but then on the outside there are those that have a thing for them. So, yeah, it's an interesting scenario, but to me, I think honestly it would have been, really humbling, really interesting, and kind of a life lesson for all ages, if they would have done something like a one-shot comic in the Marvel Comics, or in the Walt Disney Comics, or the Disney Adventures, or even did like a one-shot episode bonus-wise in the original run to kind of address the issue. But let's face it, for those of us that think Gadget was oblivious to Chip and Dale's, attraction to her, oh, she wasn't oblivious. She wasn't oblivious. Nor was she oblivious to attempts to just get her one-on-one. They weren't oblivious. She wasn't oblivious to that. She knew what they were doing, which is why she basically... So, really early this morning, I did a video where I talked about, the fact that Gadget in the original Rescue Rangers animated series, as well as in the comics, was not so oblivious to what was going on with Chip and Dale and their advancements towards her when trying to get her alone with each other one-on-one. And the reason I brought this up is because when you take a look at episodes like I mentioned in the video earlier, how she basically is able to, I guess, alter the plans, the original plans of both Dale and then later on Chip, that's kind of a telltale sign that she knows what's going on, that she is aware of what's happening. I mean, when you look at this Palov Ring A Bell, Dale, suggests basically that they go on a picnic after she finishes fixing the Ranger skate, or putting the Ranger skate together. And Gadget basically, one would assume and think that, and believe, I should say, that she assumes he means everybody. And when Dale says, Dale tries to explained that he only meant her and him, I think when you look at that as a whole, Gadget knows what she was doing. It's like when Dale says, okay, now we can go on a picnic, she knows. She can read between the lines. I mean, she said it herself in the pilot that she has a mind-bashing high IQ that allows her to invent things when she gets bored or something like that. And you can't tell me that someone with a mind-bashingly high IQ isn't aware of what's going on around her and isn't able to alter on the situation, just like that, because they can. And in Gadget's case, that's exactly what she can do. Because like I said, as soon as Dale says, okay, now we can go on a picnic, Gadget's high IQ instantly deduces that he means her and him. But since she looks at the Rangers as a family and doesn't want to do anything to divide that family or create any tension, quickly, right on the fly, she alters the plans and announces, "Hey, everybody!" Announces, "Hey, everybody! We're going on a picnic." And Dale is stuck, just flabbergasted, trying to explain that he only meant him and her. Now you fast forward to Good Times, Bad Times, where we get introduced to Foxglove, if you will. And at the beginning, we see the Rangers at a drive-in movie, attending a drive-in movie, and it's a romantic kind of Casablanca-like drive-in movie. And you would think, okay, why would the Rangers go as a group to see something like that? And then you get an idea just a few minutes in of exactly what the original idea was. Because you see, Chip and Gadget are in the front. Gadget compliments Chip on the idea for a movie. Chip takes credit for saying, "Why, thank you, Gadget. I knew you'd like it." Not even mentioning, the others. He says her. He says, "I knew you." Not, "I knew you and the others." I knew you and the team. I knew the team would like it or anything like that. No, he suggests her. And just as he says this, Dale pops up to the front with some goodies, some treats, some snacks that he got from the concession stand. And how does Chip respond to that? Does he, thank him for the generous offer, but says, we'll pass, we'll wait till later? No. He rudely tells him, "You just sit back there. If we need anything, we'll send you a smoke signal." And then you look at Gadget's reaction when Chip did that, and all Chip does is just act like nothing really happened, and then he goes, "Now." Then he looks at Gadget with this, look in his eyes like, okay, we're going to get it on kind of deal. And then he's like, "Now, where were we?" And that right there, that moment right there, just in the first few moments, gives you, of Good Times, Bad Times, that is, in just the first few moments of Good Times, Bad Times, that right there gives you the indication that just like Dale and Does Palov Ring a Bell, just like Dale's plans were quickly altered, by Gadget to where everybody went on the picnic instead of what he intended to just be him and her. Here you get the sense that, just by Chip, telling Gadget, after Gadget compliments him, saying, "I knew you'd like it," and then acting the way he did towards Dale, and then acting almost, quickly changing tone towards Gadget, you kind of get the idea that Chip originally wanted just him and Gadget to go to the movie by themselves, and that's it. And even though we don't see Gadget make the suggestion on screen that they all go together, and Chip kind of has that similar reaction that Dale had, we are left to assume in our minds, imagine in our minds that that's exactly what happened. Because again, you look at Chip's reaction, instead of being thankful and thanking Dale and saying, "Hey, we'll pass or we'll wait till later on the snacks," no, he's like, "Hey, you just sit back there. We need anything, we'll get a smoke signal." It's like basically you could tell that he just originally wanted it to be him and Gadget and nobody else. And once again, I think off panel, because we got to leave it up to our imaginations, that Gadget, took that idea that Chip suggested for going to a movie and switched it around to where everybody would be involved. And, one would think, one would think basically that by now, both Chip and Dale would get the idea. They would get the clue in their minds that, wait a minute, every time we try to make it just about us and Gadget individually, she turns it around on us, almost like she doesn't want to be alone with us. And you would think that that would clue them in on the fact that, oh, maybe she doesn't want to go that direction yet. Maybe she's not ready to take that next step. Okay, fine, we can wait. And this is where I think Disney missed the boat, both animation-wise and comic book-wise, if you will. Because what they could have done is they could have added an additional 66 episode if they wanted to, or they could have added a new story in the Disney Afternoon Marvel comics, if you will, or the Disney Adventure magazines, or the Disney comic book original run of the Rescue Rangers. You know, they could have had basically an issue or stories, you know, dedicated in any one of those platforms, or even that additional episode where you would have Gadget as part of the story sit these two down and explain that she is aware of what they've been trying to do, that she's aware that they both come up with ideas to get her alone, but she's not ready for that because even though she understands and even returns those feelings they have for her, that she looks at the team as a family and she doesn't want to cause anything to divide the family. You know, so if they did something like that, either way, animation wise, comic book or whatever, I think it would have worked. And I know some people are saying, well, you know, that was the 80s, early 90s. That probably, nobody would accept that. Nobody would understand that. You forget though, that basically there was a lot of cartoons, a lot of episodes of Disney Afternoon shows at that time that were dark, and they dealt with that kind of stuff. So it wouldn't be no different if they did something similar with Rescue Rangers. But the reason they never did is because, again, just like, let's say, you know, MLP, FIM, and some of the ships you want to happen there, or you're left to, you know, think about and, you know, inquire about and interpretate. That's exactly what the creators did here. They left the door open for you to interpretate exactly who would go with Gadget or who Gadget would choose. And I think that's I think that's a great idea to, you know, for them to do that, because I'm personally, as I've said before, a Dale and Gadget shipper. I've been so since the show began, because I think they just work right with each other. But I also understand that if you want to keep that, you know, storyline up, that continuity up to where, you know, Gadget, you know, is, you know, aware of those feelings that they have for her, but she's always finding a way to flip any idea they have to be with her individually on its side by involving everybody else. I think an additional story, animation-wise, or even in the comics, would have worked out, and I think people would have understood it and accepted it, and would have been like, okay, cool, I like that. It may not have been the conclusion we were looking for, but hey, it's better than nothing. Because at least in story, you would have both Chip and Dale understand, oh, this is why she does this. Oh, this is why she changes, you know, our plans to involve everybody else. Okay, we get it. No problem. We understand that now. And even in this story, and even in that kind of story, you could have Gadget, you know, acknowledge the fact that, hey, you have two girls outside of the team that have a thing for you guys. Why don't you try them? So, you know, so to me, I think a story like that, I think a story like that would have worked wonders if they wanted to do it. Because again, like I said in the original video, and like I'm saying here in this follow-up, Gadget is not stupid. She has a mind-bashingly high IQ, and that's the kind of high IQ that basically makes someone like her not so oblivious to what's going on, and makes them very much aware of what's going on, and allows them to alternate on the fly. But what do you guys think? Do you think Gadget has been aware of what both Chip and Dale originally intended to do with Does Palov Ring A Bell and Good Times, Bad Times? Do you think she was not so oblivious? Or do you think I'm just making too big of a deal of a small thing? Let me know down below. Let me know down below in the comment section. Let me know in the live chat during the premiere. But what do you guys think? Thank you all for watching. Comment down below if you like. And I am out. Get vaccinated, just like I did today. I got my final vaccination. My final second dose today of the Mandora shot. But yeah, get vaccinated, stay safe. God bless. Thank you all for watching, and I am out.